Now, I just want to talk about putting money into your will for the sake of raising your children, that they're going to be okay without you. Now, that involves life insurance. For most people, it becomes the easiest and most cost-effective way to do this. But people don't buy insurance because they die. I always say the problem is that your income is the thing that dies. And it's your income that over your working life that the family is going to miss out on. The sort of thing that pays for the food and the fuel and the rent and everything. So just in terms of a little framework, a lot of people ask me, well, how much life insurance is enough? All right. Well, number one, that's very dependent on your budget. So I've got a trick to show you here to save you a lot of money on that. But number two, I have a framework for you. What I like to work out is how much are you worth, right, to the family? How much money will you bring in during your working life? Because if you died, that is the money that will suddenly disappear, right? And it's pretty easy to figure out. Most people, you go buy a car out there and you want to insure your car. The first thing they're going to ask you is, well, what's your car worth? Now, I'm going to use me as an example here quickly. I'm 40 years old, and let's just assume I earn something like maybe $75,000 a year. So what this means is that I will have about 25 years worth of working life left in me, earning $75,000 a year. Then roughly I might be worth close to $1.9 million. That is now the gross figure. And it helps to give you a framework as to what the family could potentially miss out on. Now, some assumptions. Number one, I'm assuming that the $75,000 never increases, which will just be sad. That wouldn't be ideal. But if you wanted to factor in a very meager 1% annual wage increase, that by the time I get to age 65, it might be closer to 2.2 million. All right. So this is not the be all and end all, guys. It's just, it's there to give you a little bit of an idea as to how much you might actually be worth. So what I'm not a fan of is policies where you're trying to protect a lot of debt or small amounts of debt, but you use it with lump sum cover. Most of us South Africans, we take the life insurance out to try to pay out income to our families if we die. That is the point. And if that's what you're trying to do, you're in for a treat, because I want to show you how this works. So I just demonstrated that as an example. Now, just working out $1 million with the life insurance, I know that's not a lot of money in today's world, especially in New Zealand, but I'm just going to use $1 million as a round figure. Now, if you go onto a lot of the Facebook groups out there, sometimes you would see people asking about life insurance. Where do I go to get life insurance? Which is a fair question because, if we're new to the country, who do we trust to do this job for us? It's a very big thing. So typically, people in the groups would talk about places such as the AA or AMI or the banks. But this drives me crazy because these are some of the most expensive places that you can go. So I actually crunched the numbers. I went to these people and I asked them for a quote for me for $1 million worth of life insurance. And this was back in January this year. But just look at the AA as an example. They were $95 a month for me, right? And remember, I'm a non-smoker too. At the AMI, well, AMI, they don't even do life insurance anymore. They completely stopped, right? So you can't even take out life insurance there anymore. But when you were able to, they would only go to a maximum of 500,000 and they were almost $78 a month. Good grief. That's probably the most expensive around. Out of the banks, the Westpac fared the best, but the other ones, ANZ, BNZ, and these sorts of places, it wasn't ideal. My personal policy is with Partners Life. For the same amount of money, $1 million, $58 a month for me to get a life insurance policy at Partners Life. Now that raises the question, is how in the blazes can I get something as cheap as that when the other ones are nowhere close? And that is what I want to demonstrate, because there is a trick to how to do this. I want to demonstrate to you guys how to structure that thing properly, and I'm going to do it live in front of you right now. I just want to call up the software. I like doing it live in front of people because then I'm not fudging anything. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Partners Life, you might have seen their television adverts lately, is just because you can do things at Partners Life that you cannot do literally anywhere else. So what I'm about to show you is something that you cannot see or you cannot do at any other insurance company. So I hope that they keep on doing it for a long time. They could stop it at any moment, I guess. But once you have it, you have it. Now let's use me as an example. I am Mr. Paul, last name de Klerk, date of birth, I am a Christmas Eve baby, so I'm 40 years old. I do not smoke cigarettes, thank goodness. And I'm an insurance guy, and I'm a principal. I own the company, and I work more than 25 hours a week. Now, let's just work out a straight round $1 million in the normal sense that most people do it. They would go for these lump sum policies. Let's just say one straight $1 million worth of lump sum. That would be 72.93 a month, which on the face of it is probably okay, but it's not ideal. I am not a fan of structuring these big kind of, or any kind of lump sum payout like that. If the point is that you're trying to protect your income, you're not trying to pay off debt, such as a house. We don't have that yet, right? A mortgage. So we're not trying to pay that. We're trying to protect income. So what about this as an idea? All right, we can take that $1 million, and I would say pull it right back to about a quarter of that, right? That money then can be used to do certain things, the remaining family, such as pay for your funeral. Maybe $15,000 or $20,000 can be spent on that. It's not a massive send-off, but it's tea and scones, and it'll be something decent. Pay off some little debts, such as a car or credit cards, things like that. Some people want to make sure that flights to South Africa is paid for. Putting a deposit on a house, that is a big deal for a lot of people. And you get the point, right? You can use that $250,000 to pay for these things. But then, what does the family live on, right? The income that's now not going to be coming in anymore, that pays for everything, what covers that? And that is what Partners Life does. They call it life income. It's still life insurance that pays if you die, right? But you can structure it like this. You can give $3,000 a month, but that pays out every single month for a minimum of 15 years, tax-free. No income tax payable on this. So when I say $3,000 a month, it really is $3,000 a month. But the sexy thing is that that figure doesn't stay at $3,000 a month. It grows at 5% a year, and it compounds as a basic minimum. So if inflation, CPI, in any given year is more than 5%, then you'll get more, right? At the moment, I think it's about 1.8% or something like this. But the point is it'll keep pace with the cost of living. Now, if you put these two policies together like that, this is actually worth $1.026 million. So it's just over $1 million. But what was the other policy? 72.93 for a lump sum million. But this structure is not 72.93. It comes down, it comes down to 58.71. Now that is a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. If I put that into a calculator, 73.92, I think it was, minus 58.71 divided by 73.92, that is a 20% saving. 20%. Now, if you're anything like me, you hate life insurance in terms of paying the premium. We like what it does, but let's face it, nobody wants to die, and nobody wants to think about these things. So I would like to spend as little money as possible to get this done. If you can save 20%, I would say go for it. This is probably the best life insurance you can get in the country. And what makes them unique is that Partners Life, they are the only ones that are going to grow your benefit by minimum 5% a year. Now, what does that look like in reality? Let's go back to my calculator just to show you how that looks. $3,000 a month that grows every year by 5%. In your first year, the wife or the husband or the kids, they'll get $3,000 a month. And every year you would notice it grows by that minimum 5%. So by the time you get to year number 15, it's worth $776,000 worth of payout. But you also got that $250,000 lump sum. So the total paid out is $1.026 million. So it's still $1 million. Now that's pretty fantastic. I'll let that sink into a minute. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I would say for most people out there that if you can get $1 million for the life insurance for $58 a month, or for everyone it could be a little bit different. You might be a smoker, which changes things, or do a different kind of job. But if you want me to work out what these sorts of premiums would be for you and your circumstances. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But it doesn't stop there. It actually gets a little bit better than this, because I want to show you from here what some options are. Let's just say you don't want the husband or wife or kids to get $3,000 a month. You want them to have $4,000 a month. That does change things a little bit in terms of its value. $4,000 a month, tax-free, over 15 years, the policy now becomes worth almost just shy of 1.3 million. So you've increased it roughly about 30%, the benefit, right? So it's 30% more protection for the family, but it's still not going to cost you the $73.92 a month or $91 a month, whatever it was for the lump sum million. It's still cheaper, but you've increased your benefit. It's a very sexy way to do that. Another thing, you don't need to keep it at 15 years either. You do have some choices. Let's just say you want to make it 20 years of worth of payments. That will have a staggering effect on the compounding interest. Tell your brokers this, right, when you speak with them. 15 years, the policy will be worth 1.285 million. Increasing it to 20 years makes it worth 1.8 million. That is an extra $500,000 worth of protection for your family, worth of money that will go into your will so that the kids can be able to get their money every single month, so they can go to school. Basically, they can go to any university in the world and they'll come out with a degree. They'll be set for life, right? So it's a pretty sweet deal. 1.8 million, what will that cost? Let's put that there. That is $80 a month. So that is, what was the other one? 72. It's about $8 a month extra than the $1 million worth of life insurance would have cost you. A lump sum million would have been about 73.91. I'm talking from memory now. Would have been 73.91. But with this structure, the policy is worth $1.8 million and it's costing you only $8 more. Oh, even less, sorry, $7 more, around there. I hope that this makes sense, and it helps to just ring some bells there in terms of what is possible. Now, if you have any questions out there about this, I'm always around, all right? But I wanted you guys to see, number one, how to do the wills, and number two, how to fund the will. Now, the question becomes, where do I actually get these wills done, right? I want to show you here quickly. Let me bring up the website. They are called myfootprint.co.nz. These are the people that I use to do it. Now, they are a division of Perpetual Guardian, and Perpetual Guardian is over 130 years old, right? They are always here in perpetuity. Now, the great thing about them, though, is that you don't even need to take time off work or go into an office or do any of these sorts of things in order to get your wills done. It all happens online. Now, if it goes through me, the deal is that if I can do your life insurances for you, not only are you going to save 20% on your premiums with me, but I'm going to use my commissions to pay this for you. But don't worry about the winner tonight. You're going to get the winner of the wills tonight, you're going to get a free will regardless. It doesn't matter what you do. But not only can you get a 20% discount on your life insurance, but your will be free as well. They would send me the bill. And all you need to do then is go into the What We Offer tab over here. Come on. And there's the Footprint single will option. If you did it yourself, it's $100 per will. So if you're doing it for a mum and a dad, it will be roughly, I mean, it starts by that, but it'll be roughly $200. But free, I will pay for it. All right, I will pay for it. And all you did is that they would send you a link, but the link is tailored to my business. And that way they know to send me the bill after you did it. You just click that button and you're off to the races, and you can do this. So that is what I wanted to demonstrate in terms of the will side of things. Now, one other thing I needed to show you, though, is my website. It's all fine and well to show you guys how you could be able to do these things, but go to my website, pauldeclercq.co.nz or .net, and I've got some pretty nice videos there that you guys can look at, and I'm going to be putting up a recording of this webinar as well that you guys can listen to over and over. But on the front page, there's got a link here, Need a Life Insurance Quote. Now, if you click on that link over there, it's going to send you to a very quick page. It'll take you 2 minutes to fill it out just with the information that I need to be able to send you your very own quote using the structures that I've just shown you. So then you can see then what the premiums will be for you and your family, so that you guys can sit and have a chat and have a think about this, right? So I just need to know your names and your gender. Have you smoked? What your residency status? What your income is? And things like this. Then I can work these things out for you. So it's pretty easy there so far. But if you do currently have insurances in place, it would be very helpful to me if you can just attach the document of what that is. Because if your current insurance is giving you the best deal, then I'll tell you it's giving you a pretty good deal. And it will be with Partners Life. So yeah, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible without you having to leave your home or anything. And even when you need to sit with me to answer any questions or have a meeting with me, it happens one-on-one online, where we look at each other on a video, talk to each other, and I'll go through all of your private details and all of your private questions and answer all of these things. All right. I told you guys I wanted to be done in a decent hour. It's been half an hour already. I'm sure you guys want to get on with your evenings, put the kids to bed and all these sorts of things. So now the time we all be waiting for, there's a lucky draw. Now the way that I need to do this, I can't actually just extract the names of the people that are in the room. So I'm trying to make this as, what do you call it, as